Hello, Poggers, and welcome to another episode of The Pog State. I'm your host, Atlas, once again, joined by Valdez, Chronicler, and Wolf, once again, as per usual. And we're here for the Lunar New Year special of The Pog State. Things this time are going to be a little bit different that you will learn very, very soon. But first, what I'd like to do, gentlemen, is just have a quick recap, a little quick check-in on how our predictions are going. Allow me to go first. It's awful. Valdez, how are you?
KT believers? Not me. Well, I did have them at 5th. Wait, no, 3rd.
No, 4th.
No, I had them 3rd.
No,
4th.
Yeah, I had them 3rd because they beat DK, and then
Yeah,
DK was in
yeah.
5th, and we were like, we don't know where my life is. Yeah, I think DK is going to get swapped with Kwangdong for everyone, and they'll be either 8th or 9th for DK, but that's what we got to do for the points.
I have Kwangdong as 9th, so yeah, I could probably swap DK for that. It might be the optimal strategy.
Yeah.
Oh, but, I mean, DRX Bro do exist, Wolf. I think the 9th might not work out.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how Kingen is doing in a few weeks.
I'm feeling great. You know, I took no risks at all. And Genji T1, yeah, got that. Hanwha 3rd, yeah. KT 4th. I think they actually are 5th right now, but they are
Kwangdong
looking.
Freaks is in 5th.
Yeah.
KT's
So
in
then
4th.
KT's in 4th.
Felix 6th.
Obviously, I have. I did put Kwangdong low in like 8th, I think. But that isn't
That's
looking
swappable.
attainable. And
That's
then
swappable.
my bottom is DRX and Bro, and I'm feeling great. But I don't know. I think that it's a little bit too early. I think there's a couple of teams. I could see Kwangdong trend strongly downwards again. Wouldn't be the first time. I can see maybe DK, barring if there's some swaps potentially. I could see them trend upwards. But
I hear Canner is teamless right now.
don't you dare, Atlas.
If I ever mention,
Not even as a joke.
if I ever mention that I want Taeyun to come back, you'll know it's because I want Kwangdong to get closer to 9th place. Like I had originally. How could I have known they were going to play Bull, and how could I have known Bull was going to be good?
Okay, the first part.
The first part, yeah. But
Maybe.
like the bull being good
No
part,
one.
completely.
No
yeah,
one.
took me by surprise.
Even like the most diehard challenge fans, like there was no way.
I
that
think
we could have
CV Max
known.
is also like, what the hell? I mean,
He
I guess
he
we'll
said
go
that in
with
an
it.
interview. He's like, I didn't expect him to be this good. I'm just happy we're winning. That was that.
Yeah.
That's a direct quote from CV Max. He's like, I
CV
didn't
Max
know.
has watched their challengers team, and he was like, "Well, I gotta try something."
And we actually kind of expected that would never happen because their challenge team's just not
But
being
they're
good.
kind of okay now. Interestingly enough,
They're good this year.
which I guess I don't know how they're gonna do now with our Bull, who apparently was just the best.
Tatum played well in his first challenger.
He
game.
did. I mean, I think
did
it makes
that coach
sense.
stream. He was.
Yeah,
He
Challengers
got
was-
POG for one of the games.
Yeah,
Good
I
enough
guess
for
that's where he
challenger.
belongs.
There we go.
You know?
Yep. Yeah.
that can be like good enough for challenger, but not good enough for LCK. That happens a lot in ERLs as well, where you can look good in EOM and then you go to the LEC and you don't.
Yeah.
You don't hold up.
It doesn't quite
Not
work
to name
out.
any names.
I wouldn't.
No. I have KT in first, so that's why mine was all on fire.
There's still time.
My theory was that I'd just swap Genji for KT because I had Genji in 3rd under T1. And so if I just swap them, but that will involve KT getting 3rd, and that's, somewhat of a far cry from what is likely
It
to
might
happen.
happen. You just gotta flip heads.
Well, this is the
couple
thing that I
times.
realized is that
There's still time.
I thought that I'd just be like rolling a 10-sided die and being like, well, KT will land there. But actually, because they're a coin flip team, that means they're a 50-50 team, and I should have just put them in 5th. I'm an idiot. I don't understand how probability works, and that kind of hit me in the foot. So we're gonna move on from our predictions. Just letting you guys know that the LCK is not necessarily in the position that we predicted it to be, and that's actually really cool. Gentlemen, it is time to play some Yut-Nori.
That's just
This
the
is-
first of many use this episode.
Yeah, this is a game that people often play here in Korea for the Lunar New Year, and so we're gonna do it here. We have changed it up just a little bit. It is not anywhere near really the same as the game that you would be playing if you were a Korean family.
But we have a cannon.
But we have a cannon, and we also have a bunch of random questions. So basically, what this is we yut these things in the sky. They're paper. That says back. That's not a good one. but we Yut them, and then we land. If we land on one of these that has the LCK logo on it, then we draw one of these cards, and we get to read it out and then give our opinion on it without any rebuttal. It's amazing.
No rebuttal.
It's like a superpower.
And
Thank
then
you very
everybody
much,
else
Chronicler.
gets to vote
Yeah,
if
and
they
then
liked it.
Yeah, and then basically the rest of the people will then hear the take, and they'll be like, "Nah, man," or "Yeah, that's what I'm about." And then we'll get points based on the
Yeah,
amount
dude.
of yeahs we get, and we won't get any points for the nah, man, that ain't it. So that's basically how it goes. How was my description?
Great
Perfect.
job.
Now, there are
that's a
some
yay.
there are some strategies I'm a little bit worried about. Whereas, for example, if someone is perhaps going to overtake someone else, they may simply X every answer they say. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
We'll Yut that bridge.
Yeah, there we go. There we
Min-maxing?
go.
Not in my board game. That's
Yeah,
a joke. I love
Chronicler is
min-maxing.
never min-maxed in a board game ever.
Should we Ute to see who goes first? Like
Sure.
whoever has the most. Like
I just really
Yuts,
want to
the
use
most. All right,
Yeah.
I'll go.
Yeah, you
I'll
should-
go first
Desperate
on
to
finding
get
out
it
who
now.
goes
We
first.
should
Yeah,
do
you
the
Yut
thing where they
first.
do like a counter for
Alright.
Yuts.
All right,
Here we
3,
go.
2, 1, Yut.
Yut!
Oh,
That's not looking good.
Oh.
That's
He's
not
a
looking
back
good.
Yuta.
That's a 0.
I got
no?
Back.
1 plus back, so yeah, we'll just count that as a 0.
Yeah,
So
back
looks like-
means you
looks like
always
I'm
go
going
back.
last.
Chronicler
so
will
it's
go
bad.
counterclockwise. Oh, he's on a 3?
That's a triple.
A trip
oh, baby,
Yut, and
a
he didn't even
triple.
yell Yut. Wait, does it even count? Because he
He
didn't
didn't
yell
yell
Yut.
I mean,
It count,
Or that's 2. We're Chronicler in the lead. I gotta get.
I think it counts for this, but you have to say Ute in the real
Okay,
game.
I
or
gotta
else
get.
you lose your
4,
turn.
Right. Yut.
back.
All right, Chronicler's first.
Oh. Yeah, Chronicler's first. We'll go clockwise, right?
Let's go this
I
way.
also
I guess.
think-
Counterclockwise because
Yeah.
I got second.
And Kenny starts here.
No, do it
Oh,
again.
you lost your turn. No, you lost his
you
turn.
do
No,
it
you
again.
lost his turn.
Just
Okay, do it again.
Yeah, do it
All right.
again. Do it again.
That's your one freebie.
Yeah. There we go.
Back.
Boy, back
So I
and
just
one.
don't
So you
move.
Kennen is lazy.
The best part is we
Do we
might
want to
not
go
do
clockwise
anything.
or counterclockwise? Oh, no, counterclockwise.
We've committed.
Oh.
Oh, that's
Ah,
one.
so
No,
that's
no,
one,
no,
that's
No,
one,
no,
that's
no,
one.
no, no. If
but-
you get it back, it's just back one no matter what.
Okay.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not minus
You're
one.
not
on your
moving
draw.
anywhere.
Oh, wait. So then we go back twice, right?
No,
Yeah, but you can't go. I mean, I guess you could.
Yeah.
wait.
Back, and then Brendan gets onto a thing.
I like it.
Yeah,
Let's do
so-
it. Draw
Okay.
a
'Cause he
card.
got
Did
it
we
back.
just invent the rule? Okay.
No one's
So,
stopping
do
us,
I
right?
do this one? Who is
Yeah.
the best rookie?
All right, Valdez.
Wait,
See if
so
you-
do
see
I-
if you
I
can get
answer
some
this one?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got about 3 to 5 minutes. Go.
3 to 5 minutes. Well, it's not Lucid, unfortunately. I thought it was going to be Lucid. We all thought it was going to be Lucid. It's not Lucid. I think it has to be Bull, right? That's like the only real answer because I guess you guys shouldn't like give me your because Clear is like okay, but he's like really scared. We actually like did a little deep dive with Finn we were watching today. That was
Also
really
not
cool.
a rookie.
Technically, but we'll for the
he-
sake of
he
argument,
becomes
clear and
starter at
perfect
the
will.
end.
We
Okay.
can discuss. in this.
Perfect is a rookie. I think it's safe to say he's not up there because he's very flippy. He's not very consistent. He's sometimes good. Who else is there? There's like, are there any other names?
And we obviously had like Paulu, and
Samver.
Samver.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Bull. I think Bull came to the team, totally changed it. We didn't have any expectation that he was going to, but I don't know what it is about this guy. He just like he got the spotlight, and that was like a little spotlight buff. And then he was like, "I'm gonna take over." It was almost like this is my chance. He's a very talkative, like opinionated guy. He's like, "I'm gonna take this over. I'm gonna be the one." And he works really well with Ondil as well. So he kind of like revitalized that bot lane, and then everybody else started playing really well. So for me, it's definitely Bull.
All right. What are the votes, boys?
That's a yes for me.
What do you mean?
It's a matter of principle.
So who's the best rookie?
Lucid.
Really?
No,
Yeah.
that's an X for me.
No, I want because
Can we
Because
X
Lucid
X?
is definitely the better player.
I agree.
So,
And I-
like, it's the question, right? Who is the best rookie? It's not. He's literally never won a professional game on Felios, and he's an 80 carry.
I think Bull is better than Lucid right now
I
individually.
think Bull is just better right now.
Yeah, I
mean,
actually
like,
think so.
It's like who's the best rookie right now, right?
No, it doesn't
That's,
say
like,
right
kinda how I
now. It
understood
says
it.
who is the best rookie. And I
mean,
don't think
I think we
Valdez-
outvoted
who has
the Wolves.
performed better this
we already
week.
outvoted, but I like the discussion. I think Valdez gets to decide because he's the one who drew the card.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I had to do an X
Oh,
because
yeah.
I
I see, I
refuse
see.
to.
No, I
vote
know,
for Bull.
I know.
I just refuse.
Can you understand
For
how
my
much it hurts?
for my
me?
understanding of the card, yeah.
So I think you get
I
to keep
thought
the
Bull.
card. In my
yeah.
opinion,
Okay.
and I'll add my take is I think Bull's overall average performance has been higher for what he's doing for his team. I think Lucid has been a liability, sadly, more often than he's been a strength for D+. And obviously that team has a lot of issues that I'm not going to point towards him completely, but I think sometimes he's trying to save the game and gets a little bit too overeager in those moments and has made some unfortunate whoopsies. And like there's a big disconnect between he and his team, whereas I think Bull is absolutely on the same page with Andil. In team fights, he looks pretty clean overall. His presence in mid is quite good. Like he's clearing waves. He's not really overextending. He's doing all the 80 carry things at like an LCK level, whereas Lucid sometimes is like above, the bar for like, is he LCK level? But sometimes he does sink back into the challenger's mentality. And that's why for me, like, I think Brendan's right.
I think for me, if he was in a team that was functional, I think Lucid would be miles ahead. Because if you look at any positive play that DK have made, it's either Showmaker
yeah.
or Showmaker and Lucid. But I also do agree that Lucid is clearly overforcing, and right now Bull is a much more consistent contribution to his team. And it pains me, but yeah. I think right now,
It's
now
pretty
it's Bull.
surprising. I
am still very much of I do expect Lucid's Bull ahead eventually.
We know what he's capable
if DK
of,
gets
right?
it
Like,
together. But right now, I think
Lucid
Valdez
should
guts
be
this
the
one.
best, but
It's a good
yeah,
question.
currently.
It's a good question. Let's get back to Yut-N.
Yeah.
Yut!
There we go.
Oh, that's much better. I'm back at the start.
Okay.
Nice.
So because
Isn't
we
that
land on
like
that, we're going towards the
six, or
center.
is that
No.
two?
No,
It's
that's
just,
two. It's
just two.
two
Oh,
things of
okay.
X's.
all right.
All right,
Don't roll it back.
If I get a 1 or a 2, I get a card. No, 1 or
Three.
a 3. Sorry,
Yeah.
my bad.
Oh, yeah, because you have to go this way now, right?
yeah.
'Cause I
Maybe
landed on
we
this.
cancel out the backs for now, so we actually move.
I like this
That's
song.
a 2.
That's two.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, at least now, if I hit a back or a 1 or a 3, we're gaming.
Whoa, yeah. You're
Yut!
Back.
back.
You did it.
All right.
Thoughts on CL Swaparooni? Bull, bro. Hey.
Wait.
That's my question. Because bro also did the swap
so
around.
what is that referring to specifically? Like,
So what do I
if
think
it's a good
that
idea that they're being swapped,
Yeah.
or like how
I think-
the players that
yeah.
are being swapped.
I think
are
it's like
playing.
should teams be? I think just overall like should teams be experimenting with rosters and like how are we happy with that so far?
Yeah, and so obviously it's really easy, and I think we already discussed it in depth, so I'm not going to go too much more in depth on specifically Bull. I think that it was very obvious that Bull brought a needed breath of fresh air to a team that we knew could in theory be better, but just wasn't for like, even if we go back to last split where they were a single series away from making playoffs for like, what was it, 4 weeks, and then never were able to. And I think that Tane was definitely not LCK level, unfortunately. Kind of a heartbreaker for me because I do think that he very clearly tries very hard, but it just isn't enough. So the Bull swap, I'm really on board with. The Bro, I would personally be a little bit more apprehensive about because I do think that offering up Samver and Palu to ritual sacrifice by Caitlyn Lux doesn't
literally, yeah.
tell you anything. At the same time, and I've always been a really big fan of this, I think if you are a team that is just consistently struggling and there is a very clear synergy issue, there is just, your team doesn't have a coherent identity. We have seen many a time that even a single player swap can make a really big difference. I don't have the illusion that for a lot of the organizations, specifically the challenger player that is waiting behind a main player is better. But at the same time, I do think that once we get to round 2, teams like DK are gonna, and it's not just because of Thanatos who isn't even playing in CL at the moment, but like you're gonna have to start making those changes. DRX is another one, although I think they're slowly finding at least a bit of an identity. But even for Nongshim, I don't know if Kalix is actually eligible yet, but Call Me has unfortunately, which actually was a player that we didn't mention because he has unfortunately been forgettable. Even though in Challengers, I do think he was able to hold up surprisingly well. Kalix maybe when he is of age.
Yeah, I think he's 16.
I actually
Yeah,
do
he's a young.
think that the Samver and Palu pull up in the game that they actually played.
But what about Doiv?
Yeah, I don't know about Doif. Well, he was big, which was cool, and it's just another big,
He's very
big guy.
big.
He was
Yeah.
he was huge. He was like,
Polu is also so
also
tall. Like, what's going on? What
and
are
he's
they feeding
5
him over
years
there?
younger than Samfer, so that's very funny because he's just really young. And a giant, he's I think 2006 or 7.
Yeah.
And I think that I don't think that what we saw at the end of last split in terms of CL swaps, where you swap out the whole team, should become commonplace, even if you're locked in. But I do think
the
that
KT move?
yeah,
Yeah,
which
that
boomed.
definitely worked. That was a great move
Yeah.
for KT.
Good
Nice
karma
work,
for
guys.
KT.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, I think that so far the teams that should have made swaps have, and for teams that are struggling and are continuing to struggling into round 2, I hope
No.
to do the same.
No. The teams that need to make swaps have not all made the swap.
No, not all, but
Oh, so some have. Yeah.
some have.
I was gonna say.
But I feel
Alright.
like the downside of this one is that there isn't really. I feel like it's hard to have a bad.
So
take
what
compared
you've
to
said
that one.
in a lot of words is, it's a
Good.
good idea.
yeah.
I feel like this is a thumbs up for me because he hit every single issue I could have come up with. Even Thanatos came up. He brought up Bull. Okay, he was able to
Speak a
he was able to
debate class.
disagree with
Yeah.
Bro. He was able to.
Yeah,
to
How well did you present your point?
yeah, no, but
I
he
love
he
it.
also
This
hit
is
like
fun.
the bro angle about how like maybe it might need to slow down a little bit. Sacrificing them might actually break the team identity, which is my concern. If this was my card, I would have definitely talked about that. Also talked about how Perfect lost his rookie eligibility because he didn't do that full KT swap. You know, like he hit everything. You know, I thought that's a
Yeah.
thumbs up.
Well
A
said.
plus.
Clean.
Well
Nice.
said.
Keep
On
the
to the next
card.
one.
All right, now
Keep
I get to-
Uting.
Yut it. Oh.
Hey!
Oh.
Another topic for Brandon Bell.
Back
Yes.
to
Hey,
back.
hey. Wait, is the middle one any different or
No, I think they're all
Just
the
the
same.
same one.
You just have to yell.
Oh,
Just means
God.
you have to go
I
this
love
way after
these
that.
topic
Bro the
cards.
Gigachad. Reason for the disappointing performance. Where to start?
Oh
Oh,
God.
this is.
Do I have
thought-
20 minutes? Like,
Yeah.
I thought he was lucky, but he was not.
yeah.
Or is
I
he?
mean, the thing is, there's literally nothing wrong that
I
you
want
could,
this
you
card
can't
so
say
bad.
anything wrong.
Is that your final
So-
answer? I'm like, that's an X.
Wolf wants to hear proper, thought out arguments.
So the thing about Bro is that even last year, if we're starting from last year, they had a really disappointing performance. They didn't do many swaps from what I remember, right? They just essentially said, okay, this is our squad. We've got umpty. You know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But unfortunately, that was getting towards the end of like the great Gigachad years where it's like sometimes they really defeat great teams. Like they beat Genji, right? And it was like kind of memed a lot and whatever. And I think Bro as an org, they were like, okay, well, we've got like this great identity as like the Gigachad and we don't have to spend much money and everybody still loves us. So we come into this next year and they're like, okay, well, who are we going to get? They get Effort, somebody who has not performed since even the T1 days. And the T1 days, he was struggling there as
3
well.
years ago.
Yeah, 3 years ago. And ever since then, every team
But
that
also
he's been on,
they were subbing him down to Challenger all of last.
It was like more than 3 years ago, right? Like,
No, 2021, he was on the mix roster.
oh yeah, he was on
With
that mixed
Carrier,
roster. True,
the
true,
10
true.
man.
and
Very rarely,
ever
but
since
yeah.
then, every roster he's been on has been, unfortunately, a not a success, right? A failure. They took up Envy, a guy who came in to live Sandbox and did not perform at all, and was actually, we thought, like the worst AD carry in the entire league. Kind of with Henna, but then Henna got better. And then we were like, okay, why are they bringing Envy in here? This doesn't make any sense. So that bot lane didn't have any hope for us at all. And then Karis, a guy we thought had a lot of potential, right? He's the big potential meme guy. Did have a lot of potential, but unfortunately, he kind of turned out the way of
Also
like
3 years ago.
yeah, also 3 years ago. He kind of turned out the way of like Birdall, where it was like we expect a lot from this guy. I think Birdall had higher expectations, but Karis came in. We were like, oh, we want to see a lot, but kind of started not performing to a high level from the beginning. He was kind of like a middle of the pack. And ever since then, it's just gotten worse and worse. The difference is it's Bro and it's not DK, I guess, right? So, or was it Genji. First
Genji.
for Birdall?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then he
Genji
moved.
into DK.
And these orgs, they have like
Rip
more
Hoya.
resources, they have more money, they have other players, and they're like, okay, we're willing to take him down. Bro, unfortunately, do not. So they're like, we just got to use this guy. We don't have anybody better. We don't want to spend the extra money. So Karis is it. And unfortunately, it's like every year, as a player, if you just continue to have those failures, kind of like Effort, you just end up not getting much success at all. You just feel worse about yourself. The team is not doing well. And actually, I think this is like his worst year so far.
Agreed.
Gideon was the interesting pickup where we were like, maybe? Like, he's had some time off, maybe learn some dark technology over in LGD. Like, is he going to come over and, like, be the guy to carry this team? But unfortunately,
He was on IG, right?
Was it IG?
I think it was IG.
It was
Yeah.
a
And
team
then
in the LPL.
Envy was on LGD, wasn't
Yeah.
he?
Yeah.
That's the mix-up. So he came
Sorry,
over, and we
LGD.
thought he was going to be, like, aggressive and, like, kind of have some direction for this team and, like, lead the team. But unfortunately, he looked the most disconnected from the team than anyone else. And then he went down to Challengers. And then we were like, okay. Morgan is kind of alone, and unfortunately, he kind of is going the way of Cars for me, where it's like, you know, he's kind of had his time. But
Keen in the dark years.
yeah, he did have, like, his one game where he looked good. I don't know if you guys remember that.
But it was canceled out by the fact that he
was
played
that
Renekton
against-
that one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was not it.
I think it
And
was
also
against
got
DRX
solo
as well.
killed by Perfect, who didn't
Yeah,
know
I
how to
think
use
so.
his ult, and then still solo killed him.
Yeah. And I think that one game was against DRX as well, where Morgan had it. So it's basically just like piece by piece, and also the fact that Bro are just not willing to really get any new players. I do like that they are doing the CL Swaparoonies. I think you might as well at this point, because I can't imagine that any of those players are very expensive or that you're really super invested into any of them outside of maybe Morgan at this point. So it's just all gone wrong in every single facet possible.
So
sad thumbs up.
I'm like, I'm tempted to X only because I think you didn't touch on one thing, but I'll touch on
Yeah.
it for you and give you a thumbs up anyways. Which is that the
There's a
drafting,
lot.
the drafting
lot.
has been abysmal from this team. Like, not even close to like anything makes sense. And we've had some teams that have had some poor drafting, and I get it. Like, you're bringing some rookies up, and you're messing around with the roster itself. So like some of these players' champion pools might be a little bit weaker, for
Like
example.
Karis. Like
but, like,
Karis, right?
Yeah, don't
I've got Zyrakan Azir just like swimming
Just
around.
don't put Karis on Azir every game. Like, I mean, if it's a champion pool problem, just put him on Lissandra and play like a dive composition or something. Like, I think the coaching staff is completely missing the mark with their players' strengths and just completely missing the mark on the meta. And I think that all comes together with what Valdez is saying. And I think obviously the content of what Valdez has said is all correct, so I'll still give him a thumbs up. But like, I just wanted to address, I think Bro's drafting is probably the worst we have in the LCK right now. And whatever the reason is, right? If the players' champion pools are too small, then that's another issue. But it's hard for us to know.
I think it's a bit of both. I think that Karis is like, this is the only thing I feel comfortable on. You like, hey, you have to give this.
Yeah,
to me.
there's
And
no-
maybe
there's
Edgar's
no
saying the same
confidence
thing. He's like,
anymore.
this is the only champ you can play. Like, you got to play this. I think it's a bit of that, and I also think that unfortunately, like, whenever we hear in interviews from like Edgar and the coaching staff, it's always just like very negative. Like, we had a chance, but honestly, there was nothing we could do because our players couldn't put it together. And it's like,
The other
That's
thing,
what you wanna
okay,
hear.
well, I guess
they've
it
also
seems
lost.
like everybody's kind of losing faith.
They've lost all of their Gigachad energy because Umpty left as well.
Yeah.
And
Lava
without-
also.
It was
without
one by
yes,
one.
Yes,
Fir-
without
it was
the
Delight.
general, like it's
Yeah,
ruined.
Delight and Lava were first,
Yeah.
and then we lost Umpty.
Yeah.
Morgan's next. Oh no.
Slippery
Oh
slope.
no! But actually, that's great for Morgan. Just get him off that team.
And one other thing I wanted to add too is like Envy was actually like legit good at times last year, but on this team, it's not it. Like
Yeah.
like he was really good at Zarya and he was really good at Lucian. Okay, and those were two very meta picks in a certain specific period of time where the Sandbox actually shot up to like third place for a minute.
I remember that. That was a fun
So
week.
we know the potential is there, but like
no.
just small like small
All right.
footnote.
Time to Yut.
Yut. I Yuted early. Sorry, guys.
I think you should
Never
use it
Yut
again.
early.
You can
man.
always ute the second time.
Okay. Yut. Ah.
It was an X.
It's an
but
X on the
Doesn't
floor,
matter.
and
It's
it's
a
a
back.
back.
It's a one back because you
I
got a
have to
back.
go Humbug. Yeah, Yogi.
Humbug.
All right,
I'm
maybe
never gonna get to
No,
even
you're never
read
gonna
a
talk.
thing.
I'm actually pretty high
is
chance because if
great.
I get a back, then
Yeah, you're
I get it.
vibing.
You?
Oh,
All
that's
right.
it. Oh, that's
He
a back.
did it.
Finally, I get a card.
Hell yeah.
All right. Which lane is currently the most important? Oh, I got the hard question.
That's rough.
Good
Well,
luck.
It's just very controversial. So,
So,
so do we X if we don't agree, or do we X?
Yes.
Yeah, I
if
think
we
so.
think it's not a good explanation.
I think you guys can decide individually how you want to exit or not.
Because
but-
maybe he's so convincing that he wins us over.
Okay.
True.
So I think everybody knows who's been on the space with me, which has been all three of you, like which lane I've been focused on the most this season, and how it's been going and the impacts it's made. I think for the LCK specifically, the most important lane has been mid lane. because it is the lane we're seeing the biggest lane gaps, like 20 CS, 30 CS differences in the early game without ganks. I think the changes to the Rift have made it so it's more difficult to, if you have a bad lane matchup, looking at some of those bad drafts we were talking about earlier, if you have a bad lane matchup, you're going to get pushed in. If the other player is better than you and it's a bad lane matchup, then you're really going to have a hard time, and you're going to end up with a call me situation where you're like, well, I guess I just can't play the game, and I'm a huge liability for my team. But we're also even seeing when you have the proper matchup, you're losing lane anyways because you don't have jungle help because the other player is better than you. And I think this lane has been so pivotal for a lot of our matches in general, where we've seen even upsets happen because someone outperformed their lane opponent in mid. And it's a lane where we used to see a ton of 2v2s that we don't see as much right now. Even in week 1, I was like I was a little bit surprised. I'm like, wow, there's just not a whole lot of action in mid. And we're starting to see these big CS gaps, and then obviously Corki's not getting punished correctly, for example, which has led to like insane late games. We saw Showmaker get a pentakill on Kassadin because he actually just gapped his opponent with some help, obviously, from Lucid super hard, and then he was able to pop off. So far, my observation is like, going into this season, I thought bot was going to be the most, and I think bot still, on paper, in this meta, should be the most important. Like, well, I guess I meant the bottom lane because it says lane, but yeah, bot 2v2. But I think for the LCK, it's actually ultimately ended up being that mid's the most important. That's my take.
I would say yes.
It's jungle.
Jungle's not a lane.
I mean, I agree.
Jungle's a lane.
It's a position.
Otherwise, there's only one of 3. If it actually is lane, then I would agree.
It's never top, right?
It's never top, unless it's T1, which is the one exception. But I think that the mid lane matchups have been, for me, made way worse by teams just not accepting that like counter picks are a thing that might be relevant, and letting people have things like Orianna, for example, without having a plan to deal with it is really rough. I think the biggest individual gaps have actually been between the today's game notwithstanding, like top 3 junglers. Sorry, Peanut, I had to add that caveat after today. But Kenyon and Kenyon, Peanut, and Owner specifically. And I think this is also reflected in the... actually, Sylvie, outside of his Wukong, genuinely has been a lot better.
Yeah.
I've been very surprised. He's really popping off. But I think that if you look at
and Cuz.
I was going to say Cuz. Cuz is actually
that's wow. I can't believe I forgot about Cuz. Cuz is cracked.
I think Cuz is a good example
of what he's talking about.
And also looking at the bans, I think that specifically we see teams just ban out free junglers, like very right. And I think that it's interesting because the jungle champ pool is, I think, as like not fun as it's been in. Well, it's been like 2 years of tank junglers now. Unfortunately, like the last year we had actually fun jungle pool was like 2021 when it was like Viego and we still see a little bit of that. But no, I think for me it's jungle. But you already have 2 votes, so I think you get.
I get to keep the card.
It's also it's mid jungle, right? So like
I think mid prio is
League
the
is
most
always
important.
this way, right?
Yeah.
Like where jungle is almost always the most important. But like
just
this year specifically, mid has just gotten so much more important. And
I also think you can jungle based on whether your mid lane has prio.
Yeah, is your mid laner good / winning? Then you have prio. Then yes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like good luck. Try to do something top, and Udyr runs away.
My boy Willer tried to show that today.
He tried. Yeah.
He tried so hard.
Oh, it's a difficult.
All right.
Yeah. It's interesting too, though, because today we had so many like bot lane gaps, like massive gaps, where it's like whoa, and even yesterday too. So it sometimes feels like bot lane could be the most important.
I think bot lane, like on
agree that
paper,
it
is the like if everyone is playing like team or tool assisted and like everything is played out perfectly, I think bot will always be the most important. But for the LCK so far, I think mid.
Yeah, Gumakaria and Paisley Hens definitely showed us the bot lane is actually.
Yeah, when you have a good matchup and your opponents are not as good as you, like the game was just over. Actually, it's just not even a game.
Yeah. Level
everything else
2.
didn't matter at all. Yeah.
Or level 1 if you get a good level 1 trade. All right. Yut.
Oh, he's backing.
He's back. Val, this is just gonna roll.
I'm just gonna
We're
get
just
a
back
roll
at the start again. We haven't made it very far. Oh,
3
trips.
Another dub for Brandon Val.
And he's pushing us towards more card draws because we actually have a few more over there.
Yeah, I actually kind of love it if Max just doesn't get.
He's never gonna get to read one ever.
Oh, I got the easiest one in the entire game. What's better, Soul Point versus Void Grubs?
Do you need the 5 minutes for this one, Valdez?
I think I'll take about 15 seconds. So dragons, they got nerfed, right? Didn't they?
They did.
They did get nerfed.
Pretty-
Individual dragons.
All right.
I think souls stayed the same.
No, I think
They also got nerfed?
Yeah, at large, if I remember correctly.
And
it's been a while.
still, it does not matter. Every team is taking one Void Grub and running away. And the only reason they do that is because you get the extra XP from the camp, and it's really easy to get one. So you go in there, you get one, you get the extra XP. We've already talked about this a lot on the space. And then you just run away. Unless your team has a very strong split pusher, and they're going to try to get him ahead, and you have a lot of priority in mid and top. You go there, you get 6 or 5, and then you're able to like really isolate that side lane and get your split pusher in a really good spot. If that's not the case, which is the majority of games, like 90% or even 95% of the time, every team is going for dragons. And not just dragons, but Soul Point, which is extremely important to the point that teams will go up and get the Rift Herald, fight over that so that they can isolate the mid lane, push in the mid lane, get priority, and then get Soul Point. So dragons are really strong. Void Grubs are very like small use case and also basically just used so the junglers can get XP. So yeah.
Too long.
Uh,
He said he would take 15 seconds.
Sorry,
one thing,
you
like,
know.
That's a
one thing
thumbs up,
I want to add, just, I mean, I think he covered most of the bases, but I think, like, we've seen games, like, back in week 1, I think it was, when KT played against D+, where they had prio lanes. There are ways where you can actually draft around trying to get all 3 when you have a winning bottom side and you have, like, winning top or pushing top, where you can actually try to make that a strat where you push super hard, super early, and then you can contest dragons. But that's more about prio in general, and you're not really giving the Drake in this case. You're actually getting both. But I do think that there are ways to draft around that. We saw a lot of teams experimenting with that early. And I'm a little bit disappointed the LCK has just kind of been like, nah, it's bad, actually. Just get one and walk away.
Yes,
Like,
it
I feel like
is.
it's still
is,
relatively... I think
Yeah.
I think it's still relatively unexplored. But I do agree that if I had to pick one, it would definitely be the dragon. So...
Also,
100%.
not even that, just Soul Point.
Well, I mean, I think the
think it's
implication is that it's like
dragon
dragon
Yeah.
is pushing you close. Like the sacrifice says you're one away from Soul Point
see.
now because
Alright.
you didn't get that dragon.
I hate that back, Atlas.
All right.
Just set me up to get another card.
Yeah.
I think I need more,
Yut.
actually. He even got 3.
I think. Do we give him a mulligan? Do we give
No,
him
no,
a
I'm
mul-
getting another. Thank you. I'm gonna get another. I'm gonna get another one. Awesome. No
Oh,
mulligan.
this is not.
I'll give
Max, we already knew he was bad at 50-50s.
All right, cool, I
We've
got-
seen this with KT.
I'll give Max mine if I can.
Throw the man a bone.
Top 3 patch points on the upcoming patch. Can I look up the notes?
No, not allowed. Not
Not
allowed.
allowed.
No,
All right,
no,
so-
no, you should be able to. I think
So
there's so many changes.
the first one that I'm going to talk about as I'm looking this up to save time is that Ezreal Karma seems like it's going to be a really big thing, and that's always a problem.
And why is that, Wolf?
Yeah, because they're making some changes to the ratios and some of the pushing power. I'm trying to find out if this is actually the right patch notes.
It is.
Let me just like make sure there's nothing in
Wolf
here that
just
I'm
gets,
missing.
like the insanely hard ones, and I get which is better.
All right, so let me just like read out
play-by-play
the
question.
Ezreal stuff. Q damage increased, W damage increased, and the W is the big one. The Mystic Shot is like 5% more AD. It looks
a
like.
lot.
He also gets nerfed on next patch already.
So that's not like the huge thing. Let me look at the
Ezreal,
Karma
so he's queuing
numbers.
a lot, so even the 5% is
Okay.
really good.
Same with Karthus.
So Karma is getting 26 more base health. She is also getting 20% more AP to her Q. And
right.
ratio, right? So like, for example, we talked about Shurelius a lot this week and its new AP numbers and how that can affect things. So she can build Shurelius and actually do tons of damage with her Q, even on the way to Shurelius, because obviously the lane bully aspect of her Q is the most important thing. That's kind of a thing that could be problematic. Also, her E is getting an additional 15% AP ratio, as well as her max rank E is 20 higher than it was before, from 240 to 260. So those are the 2 champions that I am most concerned about going into this next patch, and I remember them because they were the ones that scared me the most. And as I'm scrolling through this, I know the third one that I like. I didn't even have to read the rest of them. Getting rid of double support items in the bot lane.
I was gonna say, like,
yeah,
he
get
doesn't
rid
say
of that.
He's getting an X from me,
Yeah,
boys.
we're getting rid of that. I'm super tired of that. That was, as everyone who works with me here at LCK knows, that is probably my most hated thing about this patch, and we had it for several weeks, like 3 weeks more than 2, like more than we normally do with 2. And double support items just kind of ruined a lot of bottom lane and made it really hard to like calculate and think about like who's really ahead. You'd actually sometimes have to look at the numbers at first. So eventually we kind of got used to it. We're like, all right, yeah, well, they're definitely ahead. But it's really dumb and it's super broken and I don't like it. But it's going away. Before anybody tries to get me an X on technicality, I know it's more than 3 things because I talked about like 2 different parts of Ezreal and 2 different parts of Karma. But yeah, those 3 things, the changes to Karma, the changes to Ezreal, those buffs, and the removal of these double support items. Those are my top 3 patch points on the upcoming patch.
It's good enough. It's a really hard question.
No, the most important thing about the patch is that Corki isn't getting nerfed.
Oh yeah. Oh, too late. They already gave their answer.
I don't
so.
know. Can we? He's actually.
You
You
can
know what?
rescind. You can rescind.
Can we?
Also
can
didn't
100%
mention
rescind.
ADTF, which is a
I-
thing.
you know-
Also the Vanguard edition.
What about the nerfing of tank items? But I really,
I mean,
I'm
the
adding-
nerfing.
Hey, top 3 patch
I'm
points,
adding-
I'm
not
adding
list all
frozen
relevant
heart.
patch points.
I'm adding. No, you know what? I don't want to be mean. I'm gonna.
It's a close call. It's a
No,
close
it's
call.
not about being mean.
Max is just salty you didn't get a
And
card
also,
yet.
you said karma, and that triggers me. Just don't like talking about karma.
Well, I think
She's
we'll
too
be
close
talking
to
about her
Jen.
a lot on the next episode of Podcast.
Yut!
Hey.
I didn't even.
Ani, no. I'm
Max,
not.
Max,
No,
Max.
I'm not taking any of
Max.
your pity. That makes it worse. No, you read your card.
Will
Come
you
on,
take
are you
my
sure?
pity? I have
Yes.
3.
You're taking Brandon's. Okay.
I have 3.
This is how we know he's never been to a real Korean
Yeah.
Lunar New Year party.
What traditional dish do Koreans eat during the Lunar New Year?
Oh God.
Whoa!
I'm getting. What is this, Karma? I'm getting shanked. Okay, hear me out.
Shanks.
So
Maybe
obviously,
it's Shanks.
I don't have any. For everyone else, this will be a very easy question because they have Korean wives.
Sure,
and thus-
definitely, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Korean
really-
influence.
absolutely.
I definitely know.
Clearly know the answer to it.
I do know that if I go to my Korean supermarket, you know what they have there in a package for people to give? Oil and spam. So I'm going with spam because on one of the days of Lunar New Year, you know, after you've eaten all the classic dishes, you just want some kimchi fried rice with spam.
Honestly, I'm ready to do this because I can't remember what the actual meal is
So
supposed
that's
to
not it.
be.
No, of course
That's
it's
what
not
you give
it.
to like your coworkers or like some people at your company or whatever.
And that's generally more common for Chuseok as well, although it does
Yeah.
happen for Lunar New Year.
My own boss lied to me, man.
Do you know what it is, Wolf? Because
So on
don't
New
remember.
Year's, dokguk is the like main thing that people eat. It's
isn't
very
that
important.
on like the real?
So
not
I think
real,
people
but,
do
you
it
know,
on-
like the calendar New Year.
I think people do it on both, but in my experience, it really depends on who you're with, like what people like to eat. Because I've eaten dokguk on Lunar New Year. I've also not. And duck, by the way, is rice cake. So you put like a little rice cake in a soup. It's really good. It's got like seaweed in it. It's awesome. Some people don't like it, but I think it's pretty good. But like, for example, people will just eat normal like samgyeop style and kogi and stuff like that, meat. And then some people will make mandu before, like for several days before Lunar New Year, and then like make it together as a family and then eat that together. Japchae, something that people like to eat a lot at these types of things.
Okay, but-
Making it together.
Yeah, you got a bit screwed.
Boomed.
Yeah.
But I think we got to get like if Gaihan like is she,
Yeah.
like
What's the official answer?
yeah.
It is
Cool.
taco.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
Thank you.
that's the answer. But like,
feel like this
I
was-
was trying to defend him a little bit. Like
No,
sometimes.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It was nice. I feel
I appreciated
shanked,
the
but
effort.
at least I'm not as shanked as Max.
Yeah.
So I'll take
I mean,
it.
I would have been shanked if I had have taken that card, so it would have been an even worse outcome. Or is that a
And
backer?
another dub for Brandon Valdez.
Jesus.
All right, Max. Do you?
No, I'm not taking pity cards.
I would like you to participate in this episode.
I'm officially
you know?
the host in this particular game.
All right.
We have a lot of cards to go through. So.
Wait for Brandon
this
Valdez
is-
to be
this is
asked,
interesting
what's your
one."
most hated champion on this patch?
Oh God. There's too many. Solution Milio versus Varus Ashe. So Varus
Draw a
Ashe,
comic book depicting this situation.
Yeah. Varus Ashe is, I think, personally better because specifically it feels like most of our bot lanes, most of our AD carries can't pilot Lucian to the level. I almost said Lucio, which makes sense as well because
It
it's
is,
Lucian
yeah.
and
No,
Milio.
that's good.
beat.
Yeah,
Oh
this
my
happened
God,
to me
it's
already on the
crazy.
cast, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like only like maybe 3 or 4 of our guys, like Guma, Viper, Deft,
And Bull.
and Bull, yeah, could like maybe do it. But the thing is that Varus Ashe is specifically made to counter lane and specifically matchups that don't have a lot of range, including Lucian. He gets a little bit from Milio, but can definitely get poked out by, even though Varus and Ashe both got nerfed and Halo Blades got nerfed and multiple other things got nerfed to try to beat down this duo. They're still incredibly dominant in the lane, and they should win the 2v2 against Lucian Milio. Lucian Milio is going to have a lot of strength in the mid game where they're doing like a lot of burst damage, and you have tons of synergy where you're getting powered up by Milio, and Lucian has got Blood Song on this patch, and he's like going forward and doing crazy burst damage. So if like Varus or Ashe are out of position, they can definitely get Omega bursted down. But I think a lot of our teams and a lot of our duos that are really confident to play Varus Ashe as well, they control the lane, they win the level 1, which is extremely important to level 1. Some of our bottom lanes are like, what is a level 1? I don't even know where I'm supposed to be standing, which is insane for a pro league in 2024.
More on that later, yeah.
Yeah, more on that later. But if you're playing it right, and Varus Ashe are in the lane, and you've got wards set up so you don't like get ganked at level 1 like Showmaker did that one time, and you dominate from there, you hit level 2 first, you just push them out with your superior range, you're getting turret plates, you're winning lane, and you're getting ahead. And generally, that is enough to kind of put down the Lucian so he's not nearly as powerful in the mid game, and you have insane pick potential with Varus Ashe. And yeah, I just think it's better. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
So, Max
Oh, come on, really?
Lucian Milio's way
Tough-
better.
tough
And no
crowd.
one knows how to play Varus Ashe in the LCK, so it doesn't even
Look,
matter.
if the
you get
card
to the
says-
mid game and then you just lose.
If the card says Varus Ashe or Showmaker, that's the only way I don't vote Varus Ashe, okay? Because that's the only time. Like,
So,
We've seen it lose too many times.
for me, the reason
Varus Ashe?
specifically is that I think
We've only seen it played like 3 times.
I think Lucian Milio is way more versatile and is much harder to draft against reliably. So Varus Ashe, I do think if it is picked up, which you will have to because Varus often gets banned. Ashe has now made it through. He's not really as high prio anymore, but if you pick Varus and you don't pick Ashe on verse rotation, you're not getting it, right? I think it's much easier to draft into with things like J4, things like Zac, things that reliably punish stationary targets. Corki is another one that I think has a really good job. And I also think that one of the big things that makes Varus Ashe so oppressive is that post 6, they're able to really nice and reliably layer CC. And I think that Milio is, to me, just so monster broken. And I think you don't bully Milio hard enough in lane for the fact that your Ashe isn't actually a reliable engage tool once you get to the mid game.
For
oh, I thought
need to
wait. I thought the
destroy
card was
lane.
just about like which one is better in general, not
But
like
even in general,
necessarily
yeah,
like
that's
in
what
the
I
lane
mean, yeah.
matchup.
But even then, I would say that I think it's really hard to reliably shut down Lucian Milio compared to shutting down a Varus Ashe lane.
I also think that if you're looking at a draft holistically and you see Lucian Milio in the bot lane with stuff elsewhere, that feels way better than just seeing Varus Ashe, because Varus Ashe are very, like, they've got a use by date, right? I feel like you're not going to get, like, and you're also priced into very specific compositions if you do want to run Varus Ashe. Whereas I feel like you can plug and play Lucian Milio.
Now, if
into anything.
if this said versus Zyra Khan, I would have been.
Yeah, of course. But also, like, if it was Blitzcrank Brand, I'd also say it's probably fine.
I gotta like stick with my boy Valdez on this one though. Like still in that like the consistent damage output you have. If you have like obviously a lot of this is composition dependent, right? So I'm not gonna assume necessarily like you have everything is working perfectly.
Yeah, this
right?
is like isolated 2v2
But-
is what I was thinking about.
But I think Varus, like his lethality builds that he has right now are super busted. We've also seen him go on hit and actually do a ton of damage. Like I think Varus is just super like flexible, and you're probably not allowed to have either of these. By the way, like that shouldn't happen. Like if you have either of these, then like somebody else on the other team is making a mistake. But if you have Varus, for example, in a draft, and you're hopeful for Varus Ashe, I think there's a lot more you can plug and play with that. Whereas if you get Lucian, it's like Milio or Nami, and somebody's disaster occurs. I think it's much tougher to play Lucian out, as we've seen with Milio. So I think if you're a Varus player, like, you know how to like press Q and push the lane and like get plates, and like I feel like you're guaranteed to have some opportunity unless Showmaker happens, right? Whereas I think Lucian Milio a little bit tougher to play out, not necessarily as guaranteed, but as has been pointed out, a lot of extra utility you're going to get. The burst damage that Lucian offers and his ability to chase and burst a target down with his ultimate and stuff like that can be good. But I feel like Varus Ashe I'd rather have almost in any composition, just because it has utility, it has the ability to spot enemy jungler, it has the ability to get plate gold guaranteed. Like, I'm on Team Valdez on this one, but I got outvoted.
Yeah, again, I was thinking like specifically 2v2 bot lane, like literally like this lane versus this lane.
Like Howling Abyss 2v2.
Yeah.
No jungler
Like,
exists. That's
and Ashe is shooting hawk shots, and they're like dominating the lane.
Yeah,
they're
they
getting
definitely-
ahead.
they definitely
yeah,
win the
that
lane.
was like basically where I was coming from.
I was just talking more generally myself.
Milio
but-
is monster broken, and it's kind of weird that our teams are prioritizing Lucian over Milio. I don't know why that's happening,
I think teams like the Lucian Nami anyway, so I
Yeah.
think that they just don't
but
care.
Milio's so good with other stuff too.
I know.
So like, why not just pick Milio? I guess they just think that Lucian by itself is stronger, so they can put it with anything rather than putting Milio with anything.
If you lock Milio, though, you are already telling the other team you don't have an engaged support, which is kind of scary as well.
Yeah,
And you're saying, I'm
depending
playing
on-
tank jungle, I'm playing,
Yeah.
a specific
Probably,
AD carry.
yeah.
We're not going to have push in the early game. It is showing your hand a little bit.
Also, I know that in Finn was talking about this, that they use a lot of blitz, which I know some of our players play really well as well. But we haven't really seen any Milio counters come up reliably, which I don't know if
they
it's
basically
because
just handshake. And
Well, that's
then
my point. Like, I
Milio
don't know
just looks super strong.
if they, because I can also see a world where Korean AD carries are just really good at punishing the level 1 with the Milio better than other regions. Wouldn't surprise me. But maybe we'll start seeing the blitz. I like blitz, so that'd be fun.
yeah, but I think
Alright.
you guys make fair points, so I'm,
I mean, I think
I'm only a little bit
this-
salty.
This is actually this has been the most divisive one. This is quite
Oh,
fun.
I'm
Yeah.
good. I
I like
like
this
this
one.
because it.
What was the
sprouted
other
a lot
one
of
that
discussion.
didn't go through?
That
me,
was
man.
the traditional.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I already
Chronicler
deleted
get
that from my
wrecked.
brain.
Alright.
The non-League of Legends
Alright,
one?
you need
I
to
don't care,
roll
whatever
3.
you find.
What, you got a
He
4?
still missed it.
Let's say he got it because he
Take it
passed
away.
it.
No, I think you get it, Max.
Did
I
he
don't.
Ute
Yeah.
even? I
No,
don't think he even
I'm
Uted.
playing by the rules.
Did you
I need to
You didn't
land.
Ute. You need to redo it.
Yeah, I
You
think
didn't
it's a
Ute.
redo.
Okay.
I didn't Ute.
That's the rule.
That's
That
the
is
rule.
the rule. That is the rule. Okay, I get a redo.
Is it-
You.
2.
We're getting. It's closer. It was an improvement.
Yeah, was it?
Was it?
I mean, he's one off now.
He was
Well, I'm one off
before.
for you guys.
Actually, it was better before because then
It's
you
an
get
improvement
back
for
and you
me.
go back.
Yeah.
I can win with 1 or 4. All right.
Back.
Back.
Oh, no,
Almost a 4 though.
I'm feeling good now.
Actually, you can't win with 4 because if you don't land on this, you go this way.
Oh,
Ute.
true. That's actually true.
Back.
That's back.
That's back.
Got him.
Go in.
Oh dear.
You know what? What I'm gonna do?
What is the traditional
What I'm
Korean
not gonna tell you the prompt, and I'm just gonna start my argument, and I want to figure out.
No, then how can we judge you? That's cheating.
No,
have
you,
to
Yeah,
pay.
you
no,
can't do that.
No, you will. You
I
will.
think we'll
Don't
get
worry.
it right away.
Okay.
So
I may X you for this.
that's fine. So I think that we have seen some very, very questionable driving on Summoner's Rift over the last couple of weeks. I think it's been a little upsetting. We had fun highlights, like the 2 people going in and somehow killing a turret instantly. I'm getting really psyched up by Max, but I'm gonna stick with this. You'll
Can
know
we
when
see
it
what
hits.
it is?
You'll know when it hits. No, don't worry about it. We had 2 people getting in, instantly killing a turret, immediately chrono break. We have also had Carrier go kind of insane playing Mario Kart. We've had multiple teams. I feel at this point we should know if the enemy team has Poppy, know where Poppy is before you go for Herald, because you will probably die. And if you don't, you will dodge the turret like Peanut did today, and then try to loop back and also just die. 'cause
Wait,
you
so do you
can't
have
make that turn.
do you have a driver's license?
I do have my driver's license.
I'm a little bit concerned because you're talking about driving and you were talking about Mario Kart and then suddenly you were talking about the Rift Herald. I really just don't know what's going on.
No, I don't know what the question
Yeah, it's
is.
impossible to know.
I don't know if we can release this part of the episode or your license may be
Now,
revoked.
what is important to note is that in general, someone's skills on Summoner's Rift do not translate to real-world skills. So I do not think you can make a decisive judgment call on whether or not a player can drive in real life if they are bad at driving Shelly, which is the prompt. Does Shelly driving tell anything about
Your ability to drive?
your ability to drive in real life? And I think no, not even remotely.
I think I'm gonna have to X on this one. You said not even remotely. I think definitely there could be some
There is at
correlation.
least a little bit. Like
gonna
spatial
say.
awareness, right? That's important. Aware of other.
This is payback
people.
for
reaction
This
time.
is just
Reaction
payback.
time.
You
Other-
guys just want to
other
be
drivers on the
contrarians.
road?
This is payback for me
Other people on the
saying no to
rifts?
Valdez and me not giving the
No,
prompt.
I
This
was-
is a power play. This is a power play.
I'm
I'm getting muted.
I'm annoyed that you didn't read the damn question, and so I'm giving you an
Because
X.
I thought it would be a funny bit if I just end with the wham and everyone immediately
Wait,
knows what I'm talking
You didn't
about.
even tell us what the question was, because actually, does this actually tell whether the players have a driver's license or not?
Yeah, you didn't even acknowledge
It's
the
not
prompt.
correlation.
You didn't acknowledge the prompt.
Self-explanatory.
No, you didn't
No,
acknowledge
but you
the
didn't
prompt.
even tell us what the question was.
You-
Because this is saying, does it tell us whether they have a driver's license, not are they a good driver?
He's tried to play to the judges, and he clearly didn't know the judges at all.
I should have known the moment you guys
Read
were
the
like,
room, Chronicler.
We warned you not to make this choice.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna get a 3 then, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
I get
sure.
a card every time.
yeah.
You.
Oh, is that a back or a
It's
three?
a 3.
That's
It's
I
a
a
did
3.
say Ute a little late.
No,
Right.
you got it.
You got it.
Max.
What
do
we're
you wanna-
learning,
No.
what we're learning is that Brendan Valdez is the luckiest out of all of us.
Ooh, this is a fun one. Is Kwangdong Freaks really a West-worthy team?
Ooh.
So
Mine would be
this-
really quick for this.
Okay, so it's West-worthy, right? So one of the arguments you could make is, are they going to be a West team, which would require basically, DK and maybe even KT to like really fall off the wagon, and that could make them a West team by default, right? So that's the first thing you need to get out of the way. I'm not really going to address that in my speech here, because
He's getting good at this.
I don't think that's really fair, because we need to answer the question, which is really, is Quantum Freaks worthy of being on the West side? So KT and DK failing doesn't make them worthy, right? So
the hand movements as well.
this is
great.
This is why
I'm loving this. We're seeing the arc.
This is part of why
He's leaving us to go to debate club.
He's just going to be in conferences from now
yeah.
on.
So, to prove my point further, Quantum Freaks, are they a West-worthy team? I do think that at this moment in time, they have proven that with the help of a new addition to their roster, who is Bull, who has really good synergy with Andil, that they are a very serviceable bot lane. And that was the biggest issue for Quantum Freaks was, can they have a serviceable bot lane? They finally got one. They're very consistent. They oftentimes win the matchup. They're very aggressive. I'm a little bit worried if, like, eventually a team will catch on and be like, these guys play very over-aggressive. We can really, like, take advantage of that. But until that happens, like, Bull and Andil are really pretty set. Cuz looks like maybe the best jungler in the entire
World.
I said maybe, okay? He looks like one of the best junglers, let me change my wording, in the LCK. And he is playing...
A wobble, but he caught it.
Yeah.
He caught it in time. He did look at his jurors. He did look at his peers.
So basically, yeah, I do think that he is playing out of his mind right now. It's like some of the best play I've ever seen out of Cuz. Actually, I was one of the Cuz haters for a long time. I thought he didn't do
Just
enough.
an anti. He wasn't a hater.
I was like
He
a
was an
little Cuz anti during some of the teams that he was even winning on, even some of the teams that weren't going so well. But I do think he's playing like some of his best League of Legends right now. Are they worthy of being on the West side? I would say through Cuz and Bull and Andil, they might get there. But to be honest, I feel like on paper, I would still feel like other teams should be ahead of them. And I would say this might be short-lived. And if teams begin to see some of the negative aspects of, Bull and Andil, what we can get out of them, they are relatively new to this league. How can we isolate them? How can we make an advantage for us out of the bot lane? And how can we handle Cuz? I think that Quantum Freaks are not worthy, actually.
I thought it was too much of a PR answer. You answered both sides. You said
What?
yes and no at the same time.
Yeah,
and
it
ultimately
really-
said
he had
you
a
ultimately
really
said
thorough
no,
doc-
but like
no, his argumentation
I
was
started
was
off-
ironclad.
I wouldn't vote for you.
He both mentioned his conditional, while then also
Practiced all night for this speech.
Well, yeah, I liked the speech. It was great, but the answer was wrong.
Because you think they're Westworthy.
Yes. So I did that because he was wrong.
That's fair.
so I
Argument,
Because
great.
they disagree.
I tend to agree with a lot of the positives that you said, and I do also have my concerns. But I think that when you're looking at D+'s decline, which I know you said, like, is this really about, like, are they West-worthy or whatever? But, like, and you said you're not going to address that. I kind of want to address that. I think they are West-worthy because those teams who potentially will drop from West Side, KT or D+, they've proven that they can beat both of them, actually, already. They beat both of them. And at first we were like, oh, maybe this is a fluke. We're not really sure. And then now we're kind of like, okay, this is coming together. The drafting for this team, which you also didn't address, suddenly seems really good, actually. Like, the drafts look smart in general and, like, cohesive. They're great at skirmishing. Ever since Bull joined, it feels like I'm watching vintage, like, good Croco on Live Sandbox and with Cuz.
Don't remind me, man.
And I think they are Westworthy. At this moment in time, like today, you know, if things change and they decline
but that's
again,
what he
whatever. But
said.
that's right
You-
now.
You guys are saying so many words. Are they better than 5 teams in the LCK? Yes.
Yeah, it just says, are they really a Westworthy team? So I kind of, I felt like I was droning on. So
They
I
have a
kinda-
top
No.
laner, so they're better
didn't
than
wanna,
D+.
you know,
I think what's happening.
I had a very
is-
concise
I think what's
answer
happening is the
and, you know-
Velda sweep is becoming more and more likely,
Yeah.
and people are starting to vote tactically.
I think, to be honest, on this one, I think
I
that
thought halfway through that
they're
he was
very
gonna
much
be
on
yes
the edge.
at
They're
the
very
end.
much on the edge. Like, I think if they do make it in the West, they're going to be like number 5. So, and if they are on the East, they're probably number 6. So I expected this to be pretty controversial. So I wasn't.
And then
I'm
if
not
they're
disappointed
close,
to-
the question is just, are they worthy? And I think they are.
Look, whether they're better than D+ or KT is not important because they're definitely better than Fear X. And I
Yeah.
think that is going to be good enough, actually, as it turns out.
It will be.
That'll get them to 6th. There.
Please roll a free.
Please, Max.
Please,
I don't
Max.
want to do anymore. I'm tired.
Max.
Yut! That's a is that a back
Hey, it's
or a
putting
deuce?
us. No, that's a 2, but it's putting us closer to getting another one.
Who closer again?
I mean, the 3 of us. Hey, I only had 2. I'm 100% win rate, by the way. I'm just saying, putting it out there.
Hell yeah. So was Brennan until he was up to
Alright.
3.
Ute. Back.
Oh.
Setting up Karani for the back.
Yut!
It's not back.
How many is
it's
that?
2.
Oh,
But
so we
but
got
it's
up
not
the top
but
way.
it's-
No, you
but
go
you have
the
to go the
top
top
way.
way because you have to
Yeah.
land on the big ones to go in the center.
Yeah.
All right, come on.
We're in uncharted
I
territory.
don't want
He's gonna roll 2.
to do it anymore. You.
2 is the only one.
Yeah!
He got us
Valdez.
two.
He got
That's
2.
a 2.
Damn, Mrs. Valdez's debate club, huh?
I mean, I think Valdez normally talks like
Why
a
is this dude
slightly
doing
less.
so badly? Okay. Yeah. Why is Azir doing so badly?
That's an interesting question.
I seem to remember Chovy winning on it very recently.
Closer
It's
got
not doing badly.
Closer
it's the
got
best.
POG
Karis
on
That
that.
has
one media
lost-
guy also gave him POG.
Karis has lost 8 times on this pick, by the way.
It says why is Azir doing so badly?
Yeah,
not why is
I
Karst
just that does
I
factor
mean,
into
no,
the
his
stats,
answer
right?
is just Karis. Take the card.
So, part of the reason why Azir is doing so badly, doing so poorly in this case, is because he has a lot more counters, I think, in this day and age that are a lot more meta. So, Akali's back in the meta, even with tank junglers that can shut her down. She seems to be pretty good with some of the extra AP items that were added in, so she's back. Yone is back more than ever because it can be flexed, and it's really good into Azir. And it's really good with Sejuani, who's super meta nowadays. It's really good with pretty much any tank jungle, to be honest, because the follow-up on their AoE engage is really, really good. You've got Corki, who's the most broken piece of shit on this patch, right? trying to get some points,
That's why we don't do it live. Valdez has ruined many episodes. We don't talk about Lost episode 97.
Expletives, give him the X.
So Corki's amazing into him. He's got a lot of counters. So that's one of the things, not to mention a whole slew of other picks that do really well into him, namely Orianna, who is like probably the best control mage on this patch. LeBlanc is quite good into him as well. et cetera, et cetera. So he's got a lot of bad picks, counters. It feels like also everybody's playing this. So some of our top guys played it, like BDD, Faker, and they didn't get wins. So they were like, there are just better picks on this patch. So I'm just going to play other stuff, namely Nico, which it seems like only top mid laners are playing, right? So Nico's up there, but also Corki, Akali, Yone, etc. So they are moving away from Azir, yet some of our lower level teams are sticking with Azir because they have a lot of comfort. They're like, we can't really play anything else, namely Karus, which is why I mentioned him before. But not only Karus, but a lot of our other mid laners are also, like, a closer plays a decent amount, and Fearex aren't really having that much success either. So his win rate just keeps on going lower and lower and lower. Another big one, tank items. Frozen Heart and Rookern are insanely OP on this patch, and Azir does incredibly poorly against those two, right? So pretty much everyone will build them, including the Senna lanes that have tanks in the bottom lane that also build Frozen Heart and Rookern and also counter him, right? So it just feels like pretty much you could have a top laner that goes for that build, that you can have a jungler on the enemy team that goes for that item build, you can have a support that goes for that item build. Hell, we could even maybe see Chovy play Cassante mid one time, and maybe he'll build that. There's that, and it just feels like, yeah, a lot of our lower teams are playing him now and just losing. So that adds to the overall effect that Azir is bad, and that's basically why.
Gonna have to go X because two reasons.
Can't wait to hear these.
Profane Hydra is an item in the game, but it is not how you should debate on our Yut-Nori game. So he said a bad word.
That was
profanity.
Yeah, it was not a really good delivery.
I feel like
He didn't. He also did not acknowledge the rampant Lichbane build that is going around.
Everybody builds bad item builds on anyone.
He did
Azir is
not
bad
acknowledge the
without
Did you see
Lichbane.
Chovy's build today? And did you see a W?
I did see that.
so. Max,
So obviously it's the best.
You're a swing vote.
So it's hard because the main, Brennan said a lot of words, right? And I think
did,
the reason
Max
the reason if
His weakness yet again.
if
trying
he,
to find reasons
if
why
he
it's
rearranged them, he'd probably get to what I was saying, but he didn't quite get there.
So
Because the main one is Rookern and Frozen Heart. So I want to give him a thumbs up. But I think the main reason Azir is doing badly is that teams just blind pick it all the time. It's the blind pick mid lane and then just gets punished. So it's not bad teams. It's every team. Every team is just blind picking it and it's bad.
And
you
as
vote?
such,
That's a thumbs up.
Yay.
it's a thumbs up.
okay, I was gonna change my vote if he said X because I just was trolling.
All right. It's your
Right.
Ute. Your Utin.
Yut.
Oh, you crushed it. Hell yeah, brother. No, I'm not taking it. You landed on it. Take
Max.
your pity card away from me.
Max, it's not a pity card. You have not this is the end of the game.
Yeah, and
I
I
think
don't want.
you should-
I
We
don't.
can't
I
end the
don't want the
episode
card.
without you
Max,
having doing
you
anything.
I
I
think
did talk for a little
I
bit.
will
about
not
the
I
blue
will not
side.
do the prompt. I'm taking a vow of silence in this. I will anyone else can take it.
All right, Valdez, you gotta go.
No, I'm not doing it again.
Come on, Max. Do it for the people. The people want to hear your
How
opinion.
about if we all do it?
People hear my opinion every day.
So
I don't think they hear enough of your opinion.
My
So
opinion.
just to like put out the stakes of the game for where we're at right now, the only person who can tie Valdez is me. So like, there's not really
There's
that
no
much.
impact
There's
on the
not
game.
really like if he takes it, it's not going to impact the game in any way because he can't win.
Also, we
or
don't
tie
win
me.
anything.
And also, winning doesn't
Also-
actually do
For
anything.
fun.
I feel like this is also
I'm just saying like it
feel like
doesn't
this is
actually
also a
matter,
very-
so you should just do it,
a
Max.
very
I
good
think it's
showcase
just-
of
I really after I didn't get a card, I was really sad for the beginning, and then I was like, but it would be funny if I just never read a card, and so now you're taking that away from me too.
Yeah, that's actually kind of messed up.
I am not falling for this guilt trip. If you really don't want it,
Yeah,
are you
because
sure?
I want the game to be played the way it's supposed to be
But
played.
it's not even the actual game. It's not even the actual game.
This is a chronicler.
All right, hold on. Let me
question.
read the card for
It's a
Chronicler in case he
question.
tries to do his weird hide the card thing again.
This is a chronicler question.
It
anyway.
was-
Which of the following
bit.
animals is not associated with the Lunar New Year?
Wow, man, not
Elephant, ox, rabbit, and dog. And of
It's
course, I'm
ox.
talking about the ox as in.
no wait, it's elephant.
Oh
sorry.
my god,
Oh,
he
he
got
got
it
it
wrong!
wrong!
Oh, X! X! He He said ox. And he thinks there's an elephant.
And this is
In the Lunar New Year calendar.
But Ox is also correct because this is the Lunar New Year episode of the Pog State, and Ox isn't here.
X.
Hey! But that was a yes from the first time.
No, he changed his answer. I'm giving him a thumbs up.
Yeah, because we were all able to change our answers like 16 times, like half.
Yeah.
Well,
Eleven
by
is
we
correct.
all, I mean the people that got cards, and played the game.
You do not get to claim that you didn't get to play the game.
I also think it's
No,
pretty.
but it's not
I
the
also
game.
want to add that I think it was pretty messed up that he ultimately decided to take the card, even though Atlas was clearly.
Goodbye.
Even though Atlas was clearly trying to get his sympathy. I was trying to make you feel less
No,
weird about
too
it.
much, too
but then
much,
you were
too
supposed to
much.
say like, I know, I get it, but
I
please
am
stay.
done.
Sit down, Chronicler. Sit down. Come back. Come back. I'll
Bye,
read a card
Chronicler.
for you.
Bye.
Let me tell you about Lucian, Milio, and Varus, Ashe. Oh God.
This is
Chronicler.
a good episode.
Oh, it said back because he's
Wait, so
he's coming back.
if we had one more. Well, actually, I would have thrown it.
Yeah, you would have thrown it, and so obviously you would have drawn a card.
100%. Yeah.
I feel like we really got the family at a holiday event vibe
Yeah.
going.
If you
It's
got
like we're
so
playing Monopoly.
So
you know?
basically, what
Such
I
a good
also need to point out, right, is that when we do a Pog State episode, if you watch it back, it's most of the time like 75% me talking. So this is a much better.
also,
like
I
this.
think-
This is good, you know.
Out of the four of us, Veldas definitely talks the least.
Exactly.
So this actually,
Some good
this is
talking
the.
time. Almost
Basically,
too much.
we muted some
Very
balance
uncomfortable.
back into the Pog State, and I think that's perfect. I think that's beautiful. That's the right way to do it.
I also want to give a shout out to production, by the way, because we
These
genuinely
are actually
we didn't,
like
we
legit good
didn't
questions.
know these questions. We obviously we mentioned a few of them coming into the POC State meeting, but we had no idea. And I feel like they really nailed it.
And
So
they could
shout
have
out to
also
production.
they could have also just like kind of like made them black and white and not interesting, but it even has like
Even the
gradients.
Yeah, and it's like a
Right.
little like pretty colors and stuff like that.
Look
It
at
just
how
looks
well
dope.
made these are.
These are hand
They're
constructed.
three-dimensional.
Okay,
And look at that back; it's in a nice font.
yeah, we are.
Yeah, it's not even
especially-
Comic Sans. It's
even
not
Comic-
Times New Roman.
So when we draw the back, it's not like we're really sad about it because we see the Comic Sans and it feels tragic.
I feel like it's actually like a custom font, like a TFF file or whatever that like was
Yeah, one of
downloaded for
those
the
things.
specific case of us playing this game.
That's absolutely beautiful.
Um,
And so in a
it's
couple
even
of
LCK themed. Look, if you guys didn't get a closer
he's
shot of it.
practicing. He's practicing because we're going to do some more LCK product advertising in the
I hope
future.
so.
That's the plan.
Did you see that hoodie that
Patch
thing
on
was
some
I know.
today?
patches.
We gotta sell that.
35K. It's probably not.
I
I
think
think
It's
we need to
probably
remind
expensive.
people about the thermoses as well.
Use
Yeah.
profanity.
No,
Yes.
Wow.
What did he say?
We have to
Nothing?
sell that.
Quick, someone make a profane Hydra joke and watch the delivery.
It'll be so funny.
The delivery. I think that
Is that the
This
episode?
was
Is it-
really
did
fun,
we
though.
do it?
yeah,
I feel like we talked less than usual this time somehow. I don't know.
I did feel like
Except
it was
I-
long.
I-
and
I
we
don't
talked
feel that
less
way
than
at all.
usual. Let me.
I don't feel that way at all.
I don't feel it at all. I've talked way too much.
We need to get Brendan to bed. Actually, he's
Yeah.
very tired. After
I do
all
have
of this talk.
9
This is like-
games of challengers tomorrow.
This is like
stream.
two.
Holy.
Yeah. Maybe for a fun, happy ending closing topic. I'm really sad that we don't get to do challengers together anymore with the official broadcast. But I do
Yeah.
think that everyone really brings their own vibe to the co-streams, and it's been really fun. And we all still hang out all the time.
I liked it
Also-
when Orcs got 5 life cards when
Yeah.
he opened his 7 packs of cards. That was my favorite.
to be fair,
part.
he did start with opening a Faker, a Doran,
and a Chovy, right?
and and a Pace. But like
and a Pace, okay.
Doran and Pace were foil. So like he
That's
definitely he paid with karma.
yeah, paid with his life.
But
as it turns out.
yeah, and Achilles is there sometimes as well for some reason we don't
And
really
paper
know.
thin.
and paper thin.
And paper
yeah.
thin from the Valorant for the Valorant fans out there. And
It's
tomorrow
it's
Valdez.
basically just like commentators in Korea Discord.
It is.
and with challengers.
it's actually Max.
All I
Max's
have to
Discord.
add
It's
is
just
it's
his.
just my Discord.
It's just we're there.
all I have to add is http:// www.twitch.tv/wolf_Schroeder. Please follow.
Only yourself? I'm gonna slam everyone. That Atlas guy. Brandon, is it? It's just Brandon Valdez.
He doesn't even
It's
know the
all-
URL of his
Yeah.
co-commentators.
Oh my God.
Orcscast
What's
and
your
Chronicler with a 1 instead of an I.
That's
There
a
it
really
is.
long URL.
Well,
Are
it's
you
also
sure it's
weird.
not
There's
a 1 instead of an
where
L?
was the
I thought it was an
HTTP
L.
and the
Yeah.
backslash colons and stuff? That's what I liked
I
about
thought
Wolf's pitch.
I thought it was a L instead of a
we're
1
not,
instead of
we're
an
not
L.
Uting. We're not playing the Ute game anymore.
Why am I so tilted? How did it happen?
You're so tilted, actually, and I know for real why. It's because we were playing a board game, and that is the only time where Mao is mega tiltable.
That's why you enjoyed it anyway.
I loved it. Everything about it was fantastic.
I'll see you guys on Tuesday.
And so Valdez is going to be co-streaming tomorrow. Wait,
This
what
will
am
be
I-
out
why-
after the.
This will be out.
yeah.
So I hope you enjoyed Valdez's co-stream on Monday and Wolf's co-stream on Tuesday. If you missed them, now you have the URLs, especially for Wolf's with the HTTP part, which was really, really cool.
I think I said it wrong.
Mine's twitch.tv/thatatlasguy, and there's no underscores and stuff. It's very easy to
Yeah.
write. I did that
No
for you
underscores.
guys to make it easier.
Yeah, I think in the
Um,
tier list, like it's like easiest URL, second easiest, third because I have an underscore. Yours is like nobody's ever gonna spell that right. Sorry, man.
Yeah, no, I have no idea. I
Oh,
don't
it's
even know
a
where to put
instead
the
of
one.
an I.
You have an I and an L. Why did you choose to do it that way?
Why did you choose this? Actually, yeah, because
It's a lowercase I in your name.
why not a 0 instead of the O? Because then there's only one place
Yeah,
for
that
the
actually would
0.
have been better.
All right, we have to end the show before Chronicler has a malfunction. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in a couple of weeks for the Pog State, and also in about a week for the LCK when we start back up again. I hope you guys all have an absolutely lovely Lunar New Year, and we'll treat Chronicler better in the future, we promise.
Probably
Bye-bye.
not.
Bye.